even though this side of the shoe is even worse.
Cheap shoes.
Yeah.
So, we are making a summary video, a recap, and a goals video for the year. Even though it's March and 3 months have gone by, and there's lots of bugs around that are biting us.
Spring.
It's spring, new beginnings. So yeah, we thought we would summarize everything that we've done last year, or got done in the last 12 months, and everything that we are planning for the next 12-ish months. Who knows if it'll get done in that time. So yeah, last year, what did we get done? We moved in. Well, we didn't move in straight away, but we tidied up the houses. There was a lot of junk left over from the previous owners, so that took some time, and general tidying as well of like the garden area.
Yeah, it was very overgrown. It was grass up to here basically.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of tidying and throwing that in compost and everything.
Yeah, and just garbage in general. So that was a big mission, which is good. Satisfied with that. We took down the little shed, the brick shed that was covered in ivy, which was a nice first little intro into big projects. First time we used a sledgehammer.
Yeah, a bit of construction or more demolition, but
it was fine. Got us started for the year.
Yeah.
We built the compost heaps, which has been great because we've had so much like organic matter, and the grass, as you said, was up to here, and we could compost it all.
Yeah, and we've started using it as well, which is really nice. It still comes full of weeds because I have to keep weeding later on, but it is nice and dark soil instead of having to buy. So it's nice to see the results of that because we knew nothing about composting, and that's been nice to have as a result. Yeah,
it's been cool. We're still getting some kind of seeds growing up through the compost that we're producing, like grass seeds and stuff, which I think is because we're not covering it, and it's not getting high enough temperature to really pasteurize.
Yeah.
But that's part of what we're trying to work towards next time, so we can talk about that in a minute. We built this fence on the other side of the van, separating the garden and the field, which has been good, and we're planting a bunch of stuff there to try and create a bit like a hedge type thing. Got some jasmine and some what else we got?
Well, lots of aromatic herbs and just nice flowers and things like that as well. Just a nice border to cover a bit the fence, but also to make it a bit more natural as a living fence. But yeah, we decided to put that so that we have an area where we don't have to worry about, for example, Lotte running around, and she can freely walk in the garden, because at the moment we have this fence just around the house more, so that she wouldn't just run away chasing a cat or something.
Yeah, but she's getting almost there, almost old enough to remove this fence.
Yeah.
Which is good.
That would be nice.
But yeah, in the future maybe. We built that kind of terrace area over there in front of the annex, because it used to be this kind of messy slope, and we built a nice wall to keep the hill up, or keep the soil up. And then you planted a bunch of things.
Yeah, I planted lots of lavenders and rosemaries, and some santolinas as well.
So yeah, that was a good one. We built the veg beds as well in that area. So just underneath that terraced area, we built how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 veg beds now, with the plan of extending that as well. So that
we're missing 2, but we're thinking to wait for the annex to be demolished and reusing the boards that are on the roof. Instead of buying more wooden boards, there's really no need. We can just reuse.
Yeah. But the veg beds have been great. We've managed to grow a bunch of vegetables as well this year. Some good tomatoes, broccolis.
Yeah, in the summer we had tomatoes. We had aubergines, didn't do so well, but we had peppers.
We had great salads.
We had salads.
Wanna come up?
We had some plums. And this winter I've been quite surprised, with kale and some
Salads, mentioned already.
rocket, cavolo nero, and now we have
Okay.
a couple of exciting things like asparagus, which we're not harvesting this year, but it's doing well.
And more tomatoes ready for this year already.
Yeah, and we've already
gonna be
sowed
good.
some tomatoes, which are doing well as well. So I'm excited for another year of homegrown veg.
Yeah. We moved into the caravan, which was meant to be just for like 3 or 4 months
Yeah,
while we waited for our licensing to be approved for the renovation.
yeah,
But here we are, a year later, still living in the caravan,
yeah.
living the dream.
I mean, yeah, it was very optimistic for things to move that fast.
Yeah.
And things don't move that fast here in Portugal. So we're still waiting for the permission to be able to start building. Hopefully that will come soon. We're really at the last phases.
Yep.
But I mean, it's not so bad living in the caravan. It was
Yeah.
really wet this winter, but then like now I think we passed that, and it will just be nice to be more living outdoors more. So
Yeah, it is nice now. We built the dome, which was pretty cool. We've built the structure, and we've planted a lot of things around the dome and on the outside of the dome. There's still a few more things that we want to do there to kind of complete that project. But yeah, that was it. That was fun and challenging.
Yeah. Still needs to be completed.
Yeah. We cleared the forest, so we had some guys come in
with big machines
and do a lot of forest clearing, like tractors and diggers and stuff.
Just clearing out all the eucalyptus that was very overgrown, very dense,
Yeah.
causing a lot of shade and probably taking a lot of the water, and it's a big fire risk here in Portugal.
Yeah.
So we've left all the native trees like cork and oaks and pines.
Some pines, yeah.
But we've removed all the eucalyptus, but we still have a lot of stumps everywhere.
Yeah.
Because they are notoriously difficult to get rid of.
Yeah, so that's something we've got to do next year. Think about the clearing of that. But we're also just going to wait until it kind of breaks down a bit more naturally. But just keep an eye on it so that things don't grow back too quickly, like the eucalyptus or the brambles.
Yeah.
But that's lower priority than the other projects, basically.
Just general maintenance.
Yeah, general forest upkeep.
Yeah.
We built the mushroom beds.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting.
Yeah, very exciting.
And we've got to do some filming of that as well, because
we've actually had some success.
We've had some mushrooms growing, which is really cool.
Yes, we might actually have to go pick some of them up this week. And try them and see, because we're not really sure when they're ready, and you tend to wait for things to get bigger, and then it goes past their prime. We've had that with some of our vegetables, so
knowing when to harvest things is a bit of a
new thing for us as well.
A new thing for us.
Before
maybe if we were more organized, we could find out the timings better.
Maybe if you were more organized. Maybe that can be your job. Always blaming me.
And then we planted a bunch of trees. Last thing we did was planted a whole bunch of trees. Planted our entire canopy layer out in the meadow over here. Lots of fruit trees and nut trees and just general pretty trees, which is great. Now we just need to make sure that we keep them alive through summer, because it's already starting to get hot and it's only March.
Yes, and I mean they're still quite young trees, so we definitely need to take care of them through these first summers.
Yeah.
And this one's going to be really crucial. Everything is doing well. They all have buds and everything's flowering now that it's spring. So we really need to take care of it as we go into summer, and watering becomes quite a burden.
Yeah, definitely. And Otter's burying her little
Otter, leave my pot alone.
Snack inside a plant pot. So yeah, that was all the projects for last year. Seems like quite a lot. So this year, what are the plans?
You've got the list. Don't ask me.
Yeah, it's a big list.
I have a lot of plans I would like to do.
Well, the first one is is a really big one. So we're gonna
Yes, I know
try
that.
and focus on the irrigation, which is again similar to what we're talking about with the trees and making sure they survive through the summer. In general, for all of our plants, the summer gets very
Demanding.
and very dry and very hot. So a few things died last year already. So we just need to make sure we get on top of the watering.
Yeah. Because these days we're watering a couple of days here and there. It has been raining on and off, so we've been kind of not watering that consistently. But in the summer last year, we've had to water twice a day, early morning, late evening, and it's starting to take a long time to water everything.
It takes like 3 hours to water everything.
Yeah, now we have way more things we need to water, so
yeah. So we want to install this drip feed irrigation system. We're getting some big water tanks that we can pump water into, and then have these sort of network of drip irrigation piping. Veg beds we mentioned, we just want to add a couple more, but as Marissa was saying, we'll wait until we get some material from the annex, because that leads on to the next point, the houses. Like we really want to make sure, we really want to get the houses done this year.
You can't get the houses done this
I know,
year.
started. We want to get the houses started this year. Yeah. So we mentioned,
we could get the annex done this year. That would be a big milestone.
Yeah. So we've got these 2 houses, which you can see. Look at this over here. We've got the main house and we've got the annex, and as we mentioned, we're in the process of applying for licensing for those, getting planning permission essentially. We applied like a year ago, so we're still waiting. But yeah, hopefully we'll get to the end of that process soon and get approved, and then we can start. And that will involve completely taking down the annex and rebuilding it, so we can get a bunch of materials out of that to use for the veg beds and also other places in the land.
Yeah, the whole ceiling is these nice recent boards.
Yeah, they're boards, but they're all kind of bug eaten, so we'll see how many of them we can use.
Yeah, it's true, there are bugs, but they're quite recent in comparison with like here.
Yeah.
So
then the dome, as we mentioned, we want to finish the dome. The roof didn't really work out well in terms of the material that we were using for the roof. It kind of just tore up over time.
I mean, we were impressed with how long it lasted because it was really thin.
Yeah.
But it was never too permanent. We kind of prepared it for the wedding, but it's kind of ripped now.
Yeah.
So we need a better solution.
Yeah, we need to think of a better solution for that. It needs to be like resistant to the wind, but also lightweight, because the dome itself can't hold that much weight. So yeah, we'll figure that out. We also want to clear the floor and make a bit more of like an actual usable space, and build some furniture in there, like tables and shelves and stuff that you can use for planting, like a bit of a potting shed, right?
Yeah, I think having a shaded and protected area to start some seeds, and also because we don't have so much the problem with the temperature, or we can start our sowing season very early, but then it's more to protect them from too much light or burning, basically.
Then I guess kind of leading on from the house, or connected to the house, is we want to build a wall, or improve the wall that's around the entire property. Currently there is this kind of dry stone wall that's taller in some places and lower in others, and it's mostly quite crumbly anyway. But yeah, we want to just build a better perimeter, just so that we can not worry about Otto when she goes out, that she's not going to run into the road or something. And we also get some visitors from the neighborhood dogs that come in here and kind of dig in our plants and whatever, so it'll just be easier from that perspective. But that's a big project, which we're probably going to get help to do, because we don't really know that much about building walls, and we want to make it a bit more sturdy.
Yeah, use mortar and everything rather than just stacking them.
Yeah. Improvements to the compost heaps, I think would be great. As we mentioned, that the compost isn't properly pasteurizing, I think, because it's not achieving a high enough temperature. So it would be great if we could cover them in some way, or just have better sort of a better setup for creating the compost, and maybe also like smaller bins. Like currently we've got 2 quite big bins.
It's quite difficult to turn.
Yeah, and it's difficult to manage and turn, and you keep adding to them, and then you want to get the soil from underneath, but then
you should stop adding at some point.
Yeah. So maybe if there was 4 smaller ones, then you can just like add to one until it's full, then cover it and leave it, and then just kind of rotate and do a bit more of a faster process of turning. We want to create paths through the land. So you probably saw in the forest planning video where we had the kind of map that we did on the computer, and we put some paths in there that we want to create. We want to make just some more properly created paths. Right now we're just walking around the grass, but it would be good to have some actual places that's cleared and a little bit more leveled, and has using kind of wood chips as well, so that in the future you can kind of walk in between the trees and stuff. And in between the forest, we want to make some paths in between the sort of cork forest as well.
Yeah, definitely. And then build some polytunnels as well on the path.
Build some polytunnels. Yeah, Marissa's got this idea of having these arches over the path that we can grow like vegetables on, and
go
things like
in through these green tunnels. They are tall enough for you to go in, and then maybe have things falling down and you can harvest them as well. I mean, that's my idyllic dream.
Yeah, but we're kind of struggling to find the right material to use. The one option is using like polytunnels, which is like these big kind of farm greenhouse type things, but we don't want to have the poly of the polytunnel. We just want the metal frame, but then they're quite expensive if we're just using the frame. So we're still trying to figure out what's the best thing to use, if it's just like a simple metal trellis, or if there's like a fence that can kind of support its own weight, a fence panel or something like that. So any suggestions that you can get in Portugal would be welcome. And then the last one, which is a bit kind of aspirational, just like if we have time for it, is like a bit of a deck in the forest. So we cleared an area where we got married last year, and it would be good to sort of utilize that space a little bit more. So we're thinking about like having a nice project there where we build a wooden deck, maybe using some of the materials that we get from the deconstruction, you can use it as like a nice meditative space, do some yoga, have some chill time.
Some ferns around there. We sowed some clover seeds, so we're kind of building a little garden. There is a kind of shaded garden underneath the oak, and it would be nice to have a place as well to bring some chairs or lie on the deck and
because in the summer it's really nice there. It's really cool with the shade of the trees.
Exactly. Yeah, that'll be nice.
But yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
just
lots
a few.
of things.
Just a few projects.
Yeah, in between all the maintenance, of course, of taking care of just everything, trimming, weeding, watering, pruning.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Those are the big projects, the big milestones that we were trying to aim towards.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, just wanted to say thank you to everyone that's subscribed. Like it's pretty incredible that there are over 1,000 people that are even interested in what we're doing.
Yeah, and for your support, for your comments, for all the suggestions that you've given us. We, as you can tell, we're like new to this, and there's a lot that we don't know. So we'd love to know how people are solving the same issues, and if they have suggestions, or if we're doing something that we could be doing better. It's always great to hear your comments. So thank you very much for all the comments so far.
Yeah, it's been really useful.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Otter started digging, so we need to stop her.
Yeah, she needs to go for a walk.
She needs to go for a walk?
Otter, come up. Can you come up? Huh? Come. Up. A bit of a trick. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.
This made me all dirty. Stop for the gram, Sunny.
I think it's recording.
It's recording.
After eating some stuff.
You gotta sit here. I don't know if you both fit.
Okay, go fit.
Oh gosh. gonna throw this down. Oh my god. Oh no.
Okay, I'll get a chair.
Wow.
There you go.
Stay, yeah? Stay.
Okay. Can we see you though? Are you like behind the thing?
No, she's gone again.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
We're going to start digging.